Out goes the powerhouse, and the COVID-19 man has come to deliver you from the empty land, from the ones who have been silenced to the promised land of the AlefBet, which is the original place for the soul of a man, where he can now get his jubilee and abide safe like he's never been, in the power of the Father, in the powerhouse, cause that's what Word Tech Trick, the Tech, in the AlefBet we're connected. Word Tech Trick, the Tech, in the powerhouse we're connected. Truth in the Torah where it is, that's right. And whether you like it or not, I just don't give a damn. Cause in this thing, the end is gonna be for sure. It's got a date before the song began to score. This ain't no lie, we about to fly. Cause in the truth, there's nothing that can be denied. Here's the COVID-19 man is hooking you up to the AlefBet, to the powerhouse, with you waving. The COVID-19 man is gonna hook you up, cause that's what Word Tech Trick, the Tech, in the AlefBet we're connected. Word Tech Trick, the Tech, to no one else I'm genuflecting. Word Tech Trick, the Tech, to the powerhouse I'm connected. And then I want to get your power back, cause you will find in there the powerhouse not scared. You won't be silenced, nobody can touch what you will find in there. Gets to cut the masking back of lies. The righteous now they cries, cause the COVID-19 man is gonna hook you up to the powerhouse. Leave the power show, ride this mule around. And welcome to HDTV 28, the Gathering Torah Vote 613. Welcome once again, my fellow Tabarians, to HDTV 28, the Gathering Torah Vote 613. Once again, welcome my fellow Tabarians. It's good to have you. It's good to, I know it's very late at night. I see Bear Frucho grace us with his presence, and the Crespin is gracing us with his presence. I know it's late at night. You know, you're my courageous, valiant warriors standing up in the late wee hours of the morning. So it's very good to see you guys. It's good to have you here. And so we're having a whole new things happen today. I mean, we got together in my house. Andy and Brian came. We missed Rosa. She was supposed to come. But we got together here and we set up I have the green screen in my room, but we set it up in the living room so we can have gatherings there from time to time, you know, those that want to come. So like I started something, maybe this year we're going to meet every 2 weeks or something in my house, those that want to make it, you know. It's something to start now. But in any case, it's good to have you. Thank you, President. Let me make sure that my microphone is working all right. Just make sure here, no, I don't want any surprises. Oh yes, it's working. It's making the sound. In any event, so we're talking today about the COVID-19 man, the truth and versus the SHEREERUTH. We read today a couple of verses, a few verses, maybe 4 verses. We did a meditation on that, but we were talking about, you know, the AlefBet nation, you know, the alphabet. The alphabet is the divine body of God. The body of God is made out of words. Okay, so one thing you have to understand about words have no skin color. And so God is not concerned with that. Because imagine the words, if the words had skin color, the L and the B, you know, and the C will say, you know, we're black. You know, so you have to ask us permission to use the B, the L, and the C, you know. And the W, the H, you know, and the T will say, well, we're white. You got to ask our permissions to use those letters Imagine the kind of divisions that we will have if each letter would claim their own color of skin, you know. So thank God this kind of crap doesn't exist when it comes to the alphabet. The alphabet is the divine body of God, which is the words. Alphabet is the Father. All right? So that's why we're looking at things. So what else we're going to learn? That's what God is not concerned. God does not discriminate on the basis of the color of skin. God discriminates on the order and on the way that the alphabet is used to either bring you back to his mindset, because if you honor the alphabet and you become an alphabeticizer, that means a person that makes sure that everything lives up to the mindset of the Father, you're fine, because of the purpose of giving you the alphabet. The purpose is of giving you the Father is so that you will have the attitude of the Father. So the alphabet means Father. All nations are given the alphabet, but they become consumers. They never get the attitude of the Father. So they fall short of the reason why the alphabet was given to them. So that's what we're looking at today. AlefBet nation, that means the nation of the Father, is a strong nation. So have a big rock in there with a little house. The house that stands there. Weather and all kinds of bad things stands there millennia after millennia, you know. The good old ways of the understanding of loving the order of words. And then there's the imagination. Okay, on the other side we have the imagination is like a card box. And I'll begin to explain here in a minute. Let me take you to my main office here. Let's see. We can use the one for today. Let's see. Let's go to the ABN. Yeah, that's the stone. Yeah, you're at it. Very good, Andy. You remember that. That's the stone. Yeah. Son, that's a strong stone. Very good from the adolescence. Let me take you to one of the things where I can talk to you here. Yeah, let me take you to this one. All right. All right. So here we are. All right. So one of my backgrounds here, you know, that I like to use, HDTB 28, Hadaber and Torah values. All right. So we're looking at this thing. So we're learning. Okay, now let me see which one I chose here, because I chose one to bring the pictures that I want to teach you from today, and then we'll watch what I did in the house here today, because it's very interesting. You know, we did this. Let me see here. Can you hear me here? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, testing. One. Okay, I'm here. Okay, you can hear me. All right, so we're fine here. So let me see if I can bring some of the pictures that I was thinking of using here. We go to this, yeah. All right, so here we go. So the COVID-19-MAN, this is the thing we're using today, all right? Talking about, of saying that AlefBet does not discriminate on the basis of the color of skin, because it's invisible, it goes inside of us. So what God is concerned is that He's giving you the alphabet. Alphabet means Father, right? The purpose why He gave you Himself is so that you will acquire His mindset and His attitudes. He is the Father of words, so therefore He holds definitions and meanings very valuable, because that's how everything runs. So if you don't acquire that attitude, you know, what's the waste of giving you His body of revelation, the body of divinity, which are the letters. That's the body that from where we derive knowledge and everything. You know, and so that's the thing, because that's what you need to understand. For example, one thing that the people keep you in ignorance, you know, one way that you can tell that the nations are not really out to help you is because you go back to the values that people have discovered now with science. Science tells you, okay, that your body, you know, for the healthcare of your body, you know, people want to provide, all these politicians want to provide you free Obamacare. It's like this Biden guy bringing back Obama again. Obamacare, they want to provide you all this stuff from the past. They want to bring it back to you again and give you all these things and make it accessible, you know, to everybody. So even if people don't have any money, that's what they say, but eventually it ends up costing a lot of money. So they try to give you all these promises that you can give you something, you know, for the healthcare of your body. Okay? But everything costs money. Somebody has to pay for it. And at the end of the day, you know, it's not like everybody has their own doctor. Imagine if you had your own doctor, each one of us. You know, there's almost 8 billion people in the world right now. Imagine if there was, for 8 billion people, there were another 8 billion doctors. So we're like 16 billion people in the whole world. And half of them were doctors. And the other half were the rest of the people. Imagine what kind of, and we had that wealth, that healthcare system for free. That would be magnificent, wouldn't it? If we could, each one of us could have our own doctor, that takes care of us. All right. So that would be marvelous if you can get some plan like that for free. Now, can you do better than that? Because that's never even going to happen in this mulectic world, right? That's never going to happen, not even in your dreams. Okay, people don't even imagine that because it's not feasible, it's not possible. But there's a system, because you know what the word doctor means? Doctor means knowledgeable one that knows something, has acquired a certain degree of science, and so that's why you could get a doctorate in in philosophy. You can get a doctorate in the different sciences that you master. It means you become knowledgeable in the field. You're a doctor in that field. You have a doctor in theology, doctor in philosophy, and there's medical doctor. That means you know about the healing arts. So just means knowledgeable one. All right. So who's got more knowledge of your body, than all the doctors combined? You can get all the doctors in the world right now, put them all together. Who is the one that's going to have more knowledge of your body than all those doctors? Guess who? The DNA. All right. The DNA that is inside of you is a copy of your whole structure, of your physical structure, your eyes and everything to sustain you, to keep it going. So that every cell that replicates keeps the shape of who you are for as long as you can keep it healthy and going. So that's the one. Your one single DNA has more knowledge than all the doctors in the world. All the doctors, no matter what special field they are. One single DNA knows exactly how your body ticks, how it works, and everything. Okay? So that's why I like to call the DNA, I call it Doctor No Ailment. No ailment means no sickness. If you trust the DNA, but the DNA, in order to take care of you, it needs to have those 300,000 edible plants that God made. There's 400,000 plants, and there's 300,000 of them are edible. So the body needs to have access to these 300,000 edible plants that God made for this body, so that you can have longevity and live the long, healthy life without sickness and everything. So you see, and so this DNA, one single DNA in you is knowledgeable than all the doctors. This DNA, guess what? You only have not only one, you have, to take care of your body, God gave you 33 trillion doctors. That's the healthcare system, of the AlefBet. That's talking about being a father. Matchless care. Nobody takes care of the body like he does. So when he created a doctor for our bodies, he created a doctor for each one of our cells. Because remember, the word doctor means knowledgeable one. And the DNA is the knowledge of how our cell runs and how they connect with everything else. So there's no doctor like the DNA, that knows exactly how your body is. No doctor in the world, no surgeon, nobody can rival the DNA of who you are, what you got. And God gave you, for each one of your cells, he gave you a doctor. A DNA that knows all the knowledge of how you are. So imagine that. So has any mulectic garden, any healthcare system in the mule, that's manpower, undertaking lame economies, that's the mule that we run all the economies. Can any mule that you have thought of, any economies from the beginning of that man has tried to run the AlefBet his own way, has any of it come close to providing that kind of care for this body? None of them. See? But they don't bring these things to bear. They don't make you realize how strong the AlefBet is when he makes an industry. To take care of a single body, 33, the body's going to say that body has 30 trillion cells. And for each cell, there's a doctor, there's a DNA, the one that knows everything about the cell. Glory to Hashem, nobody can beat him. That's, when you're talking about who a father is, that's what a father is to me. People can't even lick his boots. They don't even come close to it. So you know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm talking about? This is what it's called building confidence. All right? That's how you know when you have a father, when they give you that kind of a care. All right? So people deprive you of that knowledge. So people come away into the world. And so remember, there's 300,000 edible plants. So what do the nations do? If there a nation is going to take care of you, like all these economists, we're taking care of you. Wear 3 masks now. And then next year it's going to be 5 masks. we want all these things because we love you and we're taking care of you. So in these economies have their whole health organizations that say they're going to take care of the whole world. Everybody has one health panel, okay, and all these things, right? And they have all of this, but they, instead of giving you the 300,000 edible plants that got created, they make sure that only of those, only 200. That's less than 1%. You understand? Less than 1% of 1%. It's just very minute. So they make sure that all the 300,000, only about 200 of those herbs and plants and spices and condiments are the ones, that are cultivated the most and spread out around the nations. And then among that, the people themselves don't eat about 30 fruits, on a daily. So maybe 3 or 4 or 5 fruits. So they are completely deficient. And this is all done on purpose. And I don't care if the nation is made out of Chinese or white or yellow or red or what color, they all do it to you. Okay? Because all these leaders are ignorant of the Torah. So it doesn't have nothing to do with the color of skin. It has to do everything with where your heart is. The leb is heart in Hebrew. Leb, the L is for the lessons or learning. Lamed is for learning. Okay? And the B is for the house. So I like to call that learned behavior. So we can learn something more closer in English. Okay? The learned behavior that we have. Because the behavior that you learn, people learn behavior. When they see something, they see how people react. So the behaviors, most people, they used to, is what I call, in this muletic garden, used to be consumerism wards. People are divided by their consumption because you're really rich. You consume cars, you consume houses, you consume everything. Everybody else just consume their cereal, their bacon, their boxes of cheddar cheese, whatever they collect from everywhere. But everybody's just a consumerism wars, divisions of consumerism. And so put that together, I call it cowards. Call for consumerism and wards, the divisions of consumerism. So learn behavior from consumerism. So you get into this world and you want to consume all the goodies from this world because that's all you're taught. That's when your heart is a very weak heart, because it's based upon the things outside of this environment, that everything has come out from the imagination of man. That's something I wrote at the beginning there. So the AlefBet is going to teach you to have the character of being mature, in the sense that you come into this world basically to be a producer of everything that you can find a knowledge of to be a producer of. So on a daily, you're going to be learning new things. So you always be producing for anything that is necessary that comes your way. You're not going to be constantly asking people to do things or to facilitate anything for you. If you can figure it out, you'll do it. You see what I'm saying? Like today, we have to put a screen, a green screen here in the living room so I can do the thing that I did today. So I looked out, they were selling some screens that you just pull them out like that, they're already made for you. Cost hundreds of dollars. So for less than $16, I went to 99 cent store. I bought some tablecloths that you put in, that you put up for parties in there with a green color. I bought some wire. I set it all up myself. And then Brian and Andy helped me to, clip them up and stuff like that. So, hey, for less than $16, I set it all up. I have a way of doing like a portable screen. I can take it everywhere I go. You see, because I don't like to depend on people doing things for me. I learn, I figure it out, I tinker with something, and I come up with a solution myself. And that's how I've been my whole life. I learned it from my mom. My mom was just like that. You want to figure things out with what you have. She was like a MacGyver, always figuring out how to do the best with whatever she had at hand. And so I've been like that. You see? So that's when you become very strong, because you're always figuring things out. You don't depend on people. You're always, in the learning. And that's, you have a learning, behavior that deals with being a father, because you're in the alphabet. Not a learning behavior of being a consumer. Is, oh, I wish somebody did this for me. Oh, I wish this was done. And so you want things done for you. So you're not a producer in this world. So therefore your heart, the lev, your learned behavior is one of a coward. Because only those that are tinkerers, that figure things out, they don't need to depend on anybody. Those are the ones that are valiant and courageous. They face every situation. They go on no matter what happens around them. And so that's this whole idea of trying to give you this, to encourage you, that we're here for that, And let me see what I can read that before I start sharing what I preached today. So, Okay, so let me just take you here to the things that I'm talking about, just to quickly take a look at the things I'm discussing. So here is the guy living out of the card box, and the reason why I say the card box is because this is what happens. Look, you are taught with this, right? Let me show you. You are taught with these things at the beginning. When you go to kindergarten, they give you flashcards and little, letter boxes, letter blocks, and so that's how you learn, with letter blocks. All right, and so when you figure out, with the flashcards, and you turn it back, and then there's a sentence. So flashcards and letter box. That's how you go to school. And then this alphabet that you taught in school is so that you will become the best consumer possible. Because later on, when you grow up, what happens when you grow up? Okay, the boxes, everything's still in a box. Okay, all the things in the commercial, the TV itself is a box, and then it tells you to buy all these things in a box. Jack in the box, box, everything in packages. You know, tour deals, package tour deals, everything in package, everything in cherry coke. So everything that you imagine, all the products in a little box. So everything is to teach you the alphabet, so you grow up. Those little boxes will still teach you to be a coward, a consumerism war, divided just by your habits of consumerism, but nonetheless, a consumer is what you want to be. You're consuming everything that you can get your grubby hands on, and so everything, that's how you grow up. So no matter how rich you are, you can be, but still your life depends on all these products outside. So your house is made out of what I call a card box, because all these things come in a card box. Every product you can imagine comes in a card box. So at the end of the day, your heart has learned a behavior of consumerism, and that's the learned behavior of a person that is weak. Okay, so I understand. So therefore, you end up at the end, you know, like in a card box, because you're asking for everything in this world, to take care of you. So you're like a spiritual beggar, even though you may have a fancy car, but all these things show that you just a consumerism, a fancy consumerism, but nonetheless, when economies go under and things like a pandemic happen, you don't know how to respond. All right, so basically that's what I wanted to share on this thing myself. Now let me see if I can say something here about. Okay, that allows me to do this. Uh, the reason why it's important to have a strong heart built up on the Torah and not to be weak like that, is because I'll show you the verses here. I'm going to share with you. All right, these verses are, I put the words heart melt. This is very important. As I was reading this week in Joshua 2:11, it says, as soon as we had heard these things, our hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For the Lord your God, He is God in heaven above and in earth beneath. So it's important that your heart may not be a heart that melts, that is not, easily tumbles and disappears under the stress of the news that's coming your way. But all the nations depend on being consumers. So if their consumerism habits are going to be, messed up with, they all tremble. Their heart begins to melt. If they cannot have their consuming habits secure, that's when they tremble. And then in Joshua 5:1 says, and it came to pass when all the kings of the Amorites, which were on the side of Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites, which were by the sea, heard that the Lord had dried up the waters of Jordan from before the children of Israel, until we were passed over, that their hearts melt. When they realized that they had a God that did these magnificent things for them, they just, that's it, we're dead men. Because the soul lives in the learned behavior that he has learned. So if he has learned how to react as a consumerism, that's exactly how it's going to be at. Because that's the only thing he's learned. Okay? Now, so let me see here. Let me show you another part here. I like these other parts where he talks about when the people, let me see if I can see here. And the men, Joshua 7:5, it says, and the men of Ai smote them about 30 and 6 men, for they chased them from before the gate even unto Shebarim, and smote them in the going down, wherefore the hearts of the people melted and became as water. So all these things about, because if you're not based upon the Torah, your heart is going to melt, you know, and that's the whole thing. I wanted to share something that I have seen here from Joshua. Let me see if I can see it. About how the people, I think Joshua 14. Yeah, there we go. Joshua 14:8. Nevertheless, my brethren, that went up with me made the heart of the people melt. Okay, but I wholly follow the Lord my God. Joshua was talking here about when he went in Joshua 14:8. That's when they went to spy on the land and they saw the giants and they were like grasshoppers. So when they came back, he gave a good report. Said, "Yeah, we go, we can take them." But the rest, 10 of them, 12 went. 10 of them came back with saying, "No, they're too big. We can't deal with them." And so it says, "Nevertheless, my brethren that were up with me made the heart of the people melt." So God cannot deal with people whose heart is not built on the Torah and is valiant and fearless and courageous. That's why they had to stay for 40 years to learn and to be established in the Torah. Because Joshua was already in the Torah. But Joshua says, "But I wholly follow the Lord my God." His behavior, his learned behavior, was from listening to the words, that Moses was speaking. Because Moses had led them through the plagues and through all these things, so he knew that God could do anything he wanted. So he wasn't swayed by the size of people, how big they were, or what color of skin they have, or what technology they accomplished. That didn't mean anything to him. If God said they're yours, they're ours. So he was ready. His heart had the learned behavior of the Torah. He was a stone, while the other ones, house of cards. So it's important that your house doesn't melt. So now I'm going to have you listen to, first I'm going to sing one of the songs that I tested it. I tested it with a song first, and then I did the sermon. All right, let me take it to, oh yeah, I'll play the song first. Yeah, we'll do this. I have loved when never else as you sweetly speak to me. I have loved as I Okay, so I'm trying this out, you guys. So today I'm doing this in my house, in my living room, and we sort of improvised at the last minute, and we set up a whole green screen in the back. You know, it's a big sofa there, and it's a whole green screen that was set up. You know, and it kind of seems to be working all right. You know, we put all the lighting, and it took sort of a while. You know, I have Brian is visiting, and also my friend Andy is visiting. So we have this thing going on right now, and so I'm going to start with the song. It says, "Oh, hallowed by thy law," by Torah. You know, in King James translated law, but it's Torah in there. So I will alternate back and forth with the Torah and law. But let me see here. Get comfortable with my guitar here. All right. I think I got it. Okay. Better position here. My leg is been sitting on for a long time. I need to cramp up or something. All right. I don't want it to. Okay. So we're all the way down to verse 97. Yeah, that's where we start with that one. And then you're going to go to verse 88, all the way on top. And then we're going to do verse 93 and 94. And we're going to go back and forth to "Oh, how I love thy law," because that's like the chorus on this one. So, "Oh, how love I thy law. It is my meditation all the day." Because that's what I bring you. I'm bringing you the Torah to you. That's my thinking all the time. So, how love I thy Torah. It is my meditation all the day. song to start. Now we're going to go to Psalm 40 for the reading of the scripture for today. All right. And so, there we go. It's more comfortable here. I think we're doing good. It looks really good in the background there. All right. The lights are holding and everything. All right. So, like I say, this is the first time we're doing this. It's the first rundown thing here in my house, you know, and we're doing this. So far, it's turning out. So here we go. So this has to do, you know, it's a psalm of David, I believe, and he writes this one and encouraging us to, you know, the things that he has discovered in the Torah, and he's sharing those things with us. Okay, so more comfortable here. All right. So let me start with verse 40. Chapter 40, verse 1. It says, I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. It says, he brought me up also out of an horrible pit, out of a miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my goings. Okay, so he brought me up out of a horrible pit, like a hole, you know, out of a miry clay, something that wasn't solid. You know, it's like a puddle of mud, like a miry clay, you know, and he set my feet upon a rock and established my goings. Something that I was meditating about this week, because I was reading about the word heart in Hebrew is leb, and it's made out of you know, the lamed, which is the staff, the picture of the staff, the shepherd's, you know, staff. And lamed means learning, or lessons in learning, or, you know, teachings. All of that has to do with lamed, because, you know, the staff of the shepherd, that's what he does. He guides the sheep with that, you know. And the picture you see in the lamed is like look like those things that has like a hook at the end. It has a stick with a hook at the end. But you see in the pictures below, it's like laying down. Look like an L also. That's why they're. But it's so that's the shepherd staff. They use it and they grab the neck of the sheep who is wandering off of the path. So all of that stuff has to do. So it's an instrument of guidance for the shepherd. You know, he guides the sheep that way, and it keeps him in the right path. So that's the whole idea. So your lessons, your learnings, your teachings, you know, and then the Beth. You know, it's like that's a house. The picture of a house. Beth is a house. So the house is made of two things: of the lamed that stands for the lessons, okay, and the Beth that stands for the floor plan, the schematics, or for the house. So one way of putting it, I was thinking, you know, you got to connect everything the Bible says, especially the Hebrew Bibles, to connect with the world around you. So where the soul of man resides is in the lessons that he has learned, okay? The learning that he has received. Because the thing that he has been taught, the teaching that he has received, makes them understand the perception of who he is in his economy. And most of the time when we arrived in this economy of this, you know, that I call it the mule, the manpower of hell, lame economies, you know, the materialistic undertakings leading everybody. When we started this economy, when the whole world depends on the externality, what is outside of you, then all the teachings that you received are according to that. So that's where the soul resides, in these teachings, in these learnings, in these lessons. Okay? And this is your learning box. That's what you get. That's so the whole idea of understanding the heart. That's why God looks upon the heart. When God is going to do everything, you got to see that the heart that you have is a strong heart that has strong lessons, you know, and it's constituted like a strong box. It's like a vault, you know, like a safety box that cannot be penetrated. So at the end of the day, what men receive after they have gotten their education, they've gone to, you know, to receive the ABCs, when they learn the alphabet and then they graduated finally, they have an idea of what they are going to be in this world. Because at the end When they finish university, they finally got a degree, of either engineering or attorneys or doctors, what have you. You know, you get an attorney, and then you acquire something by which you go and embrace the care of the world. You become like a father to the world, because the AlefBet means father. So finally, when you graduate, you become some sort of caretaker of the world, a capacity of a parent. That's what you acquire at the end. So you start life in school as with the ABCs, with the alphabet, which means the father. You introduce to the alphabet, so that at the end, when you graduate, you have a career that makes you a caretaker, that makes you work in the capacity of a father. So from the very beginning, you know, that's the goal. You're going to be a father to the world, and that's what you end up doing. But in the Muletic economy, everything depends on the externality and the things that are outside of you. Okay, so in that case, everything is built up around that. So you understand, when you go to a school, they teach you with little flashcards, you know, or with little alphabet with the blocks, alphabet blocks. You know, I got all of those things when I went to school. I remember that there were alphabet blocks. You know, there were flashcards that had a letter in there, and then it has a sentence where you can use that. All these are learning tools, you know, that people use. And so once they grow up in this world, the training continues. When you become an adult and you just want to be a consumer, you see the brand names on the boxes of the different items that you buy. And everything comes in little boxes, just like when you went to, you know, to kindergarten or you went to preschool. Everything with blocks. Because you're just going to be a consumer, that's how they treat you, you know, like a little child. So everything is a little box. The box of Colgate, the box of Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know, the box, everything has a box with a product in it. And yeah, so Jack in the Box. That really has even a name on it. But everything is in a box, okay? Because that's what you've been taught in this economy. You know, that all the good care is going to come out of a little box, okay? So as a consumer, you've been trained like that. So this is your learning in the mule, okay? The teaching that you receive is that the whole world is external there. The external world is taking care of you. And you got to do everything to procure the care of the external world. But the external world, means cars, houses, you know, blankets, clothing, everything that has to do with everything that goes for the external, you know, pleasure of the flesh, the body of flesh. Okay? But besides the body of flesh, what I've been telling you in my group is that we have a greater body, because body just means a group of parts working as one. Okay? So, like, for example, this body is composed of arms, legs, torso, head, and when you put it together, you make a whole body. But also there's an expression saying that the student body. The student body is composed of everything that has to do, you know, with the teachers, the students, and everything in the school. There's the body of oceans. That means all the different oceans in the world. So whenever it comes to the body, it just means a group of things working together as one that have the same function, work together as one. So there's also the body of knowledge, things that you have inside of you. All your concepts, ideas, understandings, and everything that connects you to your fellow men and connects you to this world, okay? And that is more important than anything else. Because without the body of knowledge, your alphabet, the words that connect you to the world around you, you will not be able to subsist, not for a day. Because you got to be able to communicate, so the alphabet is there at the front of everything, okay? From the moment you start speaking and everything. So it is this thing that I emphasize, that your body of knowledge has to be strong. Because if your body of knowledge, because from the body of knowledge, you get not only to know what your name is, you know who your name is because the body of knowledge instructs you, the alphabet instructs you, but the body of knowledge is also divine, okay? Because this is the body that God uses to create everything. He uses words. He used words to create the heavens and the earth, and he used words to create us. And he used words to create the magnificent, resilient, organic garden that can do the FMR. You know what I'm talking about? Be fruitful, multiply, and replenish. Okay? So he showed us that he can use the alphabet in a way that no human being has ever been able to master it. He is the master of the alphabet, because the things that he makes, all those things are able to do the FMR. Because at the end of the day, that's what you do as a soul. When you receive words, your soul is able with those words to do the FMR. That word that goes inside of your soul, he said, well, to be fruitful, to multiply and replenish. You can bring it out. Every time you hear a story, you can be fruitful. You can say it over and over. You can bring it out and never lose it. And so, when it comes to that, the only one that has been able to create that in the physical world, you know, in which something can do the FMR, with the animals, the insects, the plants, and all that is only God so far. Man has tried to do those things, but the best he's come down is to just cloning. Well, cloning, that means you take the code from the original one and try to duplicate it. Okay, so that doesn't count as being the original creator. So man has done cloning, but cloning is not, it's just a copy. It's a copycat. Okay, so it has not been able to, from the very start, from scratch, to create something about the AlefBet. The best he's been able to do from scratch, to create something from the alphabet, is to do this mule, the manpower upheld lame economies, which are welcome to all economies of the world, from Dubai to the United States. All of them have man-made plans that they need the manpower to be upheld because they are lame economies. They are the mule, M-U-L-E. A mule cannot procreate once it's made, right? It needs the power of man to keep making more mules, okay? And so that's the whole thing. So I'm trying to tell you this because I'm trying to get you to this verse that you need to be established with something solid, something that is not made out of mud, I don't be left in a horrible pit where everybody can just use you and abuse you, so that's the whole idea. So I'm trying to establish you and I'm trying to bring you out, with this group of the COVID-19-MAN. My whole purpose of it is I want to dash in pieces your house of cards. Your house of cards is the heart that you have right now. That is fragile. It's fragile because you are at a time right now where a lot of people in the world are scared. They don't know what to make of it. They don't know, how to deal with the way that this plague has come all of a sudden upon them. And they feel like, then their whole life is just caving under, or things that are not going their way. Some of them are going depressed. Some of them are going into drugs. Some of them into all kinds of things to try to cope with it, When the way I see it is, the whole world right now, especially in the United States, you understand that the way we are set up, there has never been kings like 10, let's say 500, 600 years ago, and before that were set up like we are. Kings would envy our position. There were no kings like 600 or 700 years ago that they could just order something from Grubhub. They feel hungry at night. They can have a little chariot come from Grubhub to deliver this food. If they were a little bored, say, I'm bored with everything. I'm gonna watch something from what's happening across the world and just put the TV and watch a window. I mean, imagine if you were to be able to tell these people, if I'm bored, I can just watch something from across the world anytime I want. Man, all these kings will envy you. They'll say, man, you're such a high status position. So we're in a position right now with the technology that we have in the mule and the materialistic undertaking leading earth. We're in a position with that technology. We're set up higher than all the royal kings of all history. Okay? They never had it as good as we have it now. We get to send home, but look, we got home and we get fat. Kings, only the kings used to get fat. All the peasants, all people is killing people all over the place. So we live like royalty here, and yet we are so afraid. We have it made in comparison to other epochs and other times. And then and we're afraid because things are not being done our way. Because we compare ourselves with the time that we live in, and we don't understand how good we have it. Okay, compared to the, so there you have it. You are set up like higher and more comfortable than any king would ever have it, but yet you are more scared than any king ever was under those circumstances. Because if a king was set up like that in the past, man, that king will think he's invincible. I am a real king here, man. I can summon the weatherman to tell me what time it is. I can tell the TV to sing me an opera song. I can tell my cell phone, hey, who has that? A king will feel like, he's on top, of the world, of everything. He had something like that, a few hundred years ago. But look at it. We're set up with every comfort and everything, and yet little news that come from those little gadgets, from those little cell phones, they scare you. Come on, man. So what does that tell you? Your heart is weak. Your heart is built up as a house of cards. And that's what so you live in a cardboard box. Your soul lives in a cardboard box. Okay? It comes down. That's what your heart is, a cardboard box. So why are you living in a cardboard box? Because you're homeless. You do not know the Ab. You do not know your real father. Okay? You were introduced to the alphabet. And if you were to grow into the character of the father of words, because that's the AlefBet is just the father of words, then nothing will scare you. Okay? So you understand? Because the character of God is your economy, and who He is your life. So when the character of God is your economy and who He is in your life, who's going to destroy God? Who's going to take away from Him the desire to take care of everything by use of words? Nobody's going to do that. So His way of being and His way of acting is not changing for anybody. And since you are cooked up to that, you are not shaken, my friend. That's why all these things could be happening and nothing can sway you. But if you're not in there, if you think your economy is the mule, the things that are coming from this external world, no wonder, you're shaking in your boots. And even though you're set up like no king was ever set up, with all the comforts, everything at your fingertips, you can summon things like that with the phone. You can get the music that you want at a moment, even a few 30 or 40 years ago, when people wanted to get the song they want, they had to call on the radio, wait and see. Somebody will play. If you wanted to record a song, you had to play on the cassette and hope all day finally they'll play something, so you'll hit the cassette, Now you download the MP3, anytime you want, YouTube, anything you want, it's instant. You're set up like no king was ever set up. But at the same time, your soul is homeless. See, this is in a cardboard box, okay? Because you have nothing solid. Your economy, is this mule. When you are the energy that allows the mule economy to operate, and you have forgotten how powerful you are. So the thing is, so that's what I'm trying to do with my group. I'm trying to encourage you, to listen to what the Torah has to say, so that you will rise above this economy, because this economy is not your true heritage. Your true heritage is to have that fellowship with the Father of all words, okay, and to live in that fellowship and the here and now. So you're always in His wisdom, in His mindset, and therefore nothing is going to scare you. Nothing is going to make you afraid. Because if your life is who God is, if that's what your life is, then who's going to kill God? Who's going to get rid of the way that He feels about taking care of everything? Nobody. All right? So your economy is safe. Okay? But if you already have acquired the mindset of this mulectic world, and they tell you that without the things of the mule, of the manpower of hell, lame economy, without getting the things from there, you're not anybody, no wonder, you feel like this. So the whole idea is to take you out of that, my friend. So I'm going to be saying things to you that you have not considered before, but that's why I've been teaching you about the pesel, about the narrative that takes you away from the Torah, takes you away from the mindset of God, so that you're not alive with Him, abide with Him in the here and now, but you abandon that and settle for something else. When the times come like this, they can take it, from under your feet, like that we're doing, what they're doing right now with this economy, trying to take everything away from you, all these people. So that's the whole idea, So I'm going to read verse 2 again. He says, He brought me up also out of an horrible pit, out of the merry clay. You were in a hole. You were in a cardboard box. You were in a situation where you had nothing solid, merry clay, just mud. And set my feet upon a rock. What's the rock? The Torah. Teachings, orderly, regulating all humanity. I have all kinds of stuff to mention on the Torah, but the Torah is fantastic to me. That's my life. That's my everything. Because that's what gives me the power to walk in all the splendor, all of what the Davar can do, the Word of God can do. And the Word, period, So, verse 3 is, And He had put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our God. Many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in the Lord. You see what I'm saying? That's why I started with that song, and it's all in the book of Psalms too. I love to sing all the different psalms, and that's so. Oh, hallowed thy Torah. It is my meditation all the day long, all the day. Because if you want to be in the mindset of your Maker, then you have that song in you, by which you can address the whole world, for them to come out of it. So that's why I'm saying that I've been teaching you the things like the pesel, the narrative. I'm teaching you what SHEREERUTH. Okay, SHEREERUTH is the word in Hebrew for imagination. Okay, and I also been teaching you about Yetzer. Yetzer is another word that has to do with imagination, but it's more like your inclination, your proclivity, your propensity, your bent to do something, okay? So it all depends. According to the narrative that you're presented, the things you're taught in school, the pesel, the people teach you, that creates an imagination. And that imagination either leads you back to the alphabet, so that you always a creator and a producer in this world, or it makes you fall in love with the imagination itself, so you only end up being a consumer in this world because you're expecting just the goods to come out of the world. Okay, so there's a lot of religions and everything that will teach you just to love the thing that has been made for you and to wait for it and for you to go and see, wait until you could get it and then you enjoy it when you get it. Okay, so that's the whole idea of this economy, the mule. They make you nice TVs, nice flat screen TV, nice everything else, so that when you get it, when you buy it and you get it, that's when you can rejoice that you have it and you're being taken care of by it. All right, and even religion is like that. You know, they're going to teach you of a place for the comfort of the body, you know, where your body never dies, never gets sick. So you're going to go to, believe in what we're teaching you, and you're going to go to heaven. You're going to meet the maker of heaven there. You're going to have all this time in there. So the whole idea, you keep, so, okay, so I guess when I go to heaven, and when I die, you know, I go to heaven, I get to enjoy that. So in the meantime, that's not what you were made for. You were not made for a place. You were made to have that intimacy with the mindset of your maker. I'm not making that up. That's the purpose for which God made us. God made us so that he can have that intimacy with us in the here and now. But we went to settle for something else. As if that was God's idea. You know, God's idea was to be in us. You know, and he's the alphabet, and the alphabet is in us. You know, but we are, in our psyche, in our soul, we do not line up with the same attitudes of the Father. That's why we're not in the same page in that sense. And the Torah is that big one page where we can all get together in the same page with the Maker and be with him in the here and now. Okay, but that's what has been forgotten. And everybody that goes against what God desires is the enemy, you know, of God. Because God's desire is for him to have fellowship for us in the here and now. And everybody else that wants to settle for a religion that does not teach you that, you are an enemy of the will and desire of God. Because that's what God was the intention to bring us here. So he will have that fellowship with us in the here and now. And that's what the Torah is all about. Okay, so anybody that comes and says, no, you're going to have a better fellowship when you die, you pass. All these things are robbing you of the purpose for which God made you. So I will be saying things like that. You know, it will challenge your belief system, you know. But I'm just telling you what the Torah wants. Because the desires of God is for him. It's not us. We seem to be settled with the idea that, oh yeah, okay, I just do whatever I decide to do my best here. And then I want to have some fellowship with him over here. But it's not really the fellowship with him that you're looking for. You're just looking for a better environment. It's all for the comfort of the flesh. You just want a place where you have a mansion in the skies, you know, that you have the large pool that you never had there, you know, or you have all the things but everything for the flesh, so that you can just enjoy all these things, not necessarily be in the mindset of the Maker all the time. But the thing is, the mindset of the Maker can be enjoyed even in hell, you know, because it got nothing to do, you know, that's what, this is deep stuff, you guys. If you are in the life of the mindset of the Father, you know, because God is in every place. And he's in the management of everything, how he runs everything, okay? So nothing can affect you, because that's the thing. The soul is in this body and in what loves the most. The soul can always be found in two places. In this body in which is dwelling, and in whatever it loves the most. Okay? On whatever it's taken care of. You know, just like Larry Page, you know, the people, Larry Page and the Sergey Brin, the makers of Google. You know, the soul of them is in their body, but also is in all the companies they have under the Alphabet Inc. Because they run all these companies. They have this Alphabet Inc., the parent company, and so they have to keep track of all their stocks and everything and their earnings. So their soul is in two places for them, in their bodies and also in everything that they're taking care of, the things that they love. That's how the soul is. The soul can be in two places, you know, at once. It has that capacity. It expands to as much of what it loves. So when your soul is in the Torah, that means you're in the mindset of the AlefBet. And where's the management of the AlefBet found? The management of the alphabet is everywhere. It's in heaven, it's on earth, it's in hell, it's in administration. The management of the alphabet, the use of the alphabet to run everything is everywhere. You know, so you have expanded your soul, you know, so high, you know, so everywhere. Because it doesn't matter where God takes you, it's in his mindset that you arrive. That's why David says, whom have I in heaven? You know, but the end, there's nothing upon earth that I desire but thee. It doesn't matter the place, whether I'm in a heavenly place or where I'm on earth, where I have the enemies around me and everything like that. Because that's how it is. That's the language of love. Because I heard people say, when they have the better half that they found in the world, says, sweetheart, if I don't care if I lose everything, I don't care if this happens to me, as long as I'm with you, so I'll be okay. That's what people say that really have love for each other, that really just care for one another, and they don't care for anything else. So it doesn't matter the circumstances, but yet other people just want God. Okay, I watch, but just to take me to heaven, keep me in a nice environment. What kind of love is that? I just want you for the good things. No, nothing for my circumstances to be really nice and everything. Who's the person saying, I don't care what's going on here. I don't care if this is burning. I don't care what happened, Lord, as long as I'm in your mindset, as long as I'm in your spirit, let not thy spirit depart from me. That's what they will say. That's all I want. I mean, the same mindset. It's not for circumstances. It's just because I want that intimacy for which I was made. That's my price, and I'm claiming it in the here and now. I'm not let heaven steal that fellowship from me. I'm going to let the promise of a better body steal that fellowship from me. I was made for that because God wanted me to be that way, and I'm claiming it for the here and now, and I'm going to enjoy it. That's the whole idea. If you're there, who can harm you? You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing is, you will be above everything because you're set up like I said, I told you at the beginning, you're set up like the kings. We wish they would have been set up, but they never were. They were never able to. So so even a person in Africa that has a cell phone and communicates with is in a better position than all the kings that were 600, 700 years ago. You know what I'm saying? They haven't made compared to them. Those kings will switch places with that kid. Hey, let me have that gadget. You can own my kingdom because with this I can rule everybody else. But yet, when it comes to the surroundings, their heart is faint because you are homeless. You're not in the AlefBet. So your soul is a homeless soul. You live in a cardboard box. Okay, and I want to set you up on a strong house, a strong tower. So you'll be in the powerhouse, the power source, And okay, so where we are, which verse are we on? The verse 3, and we're going to verse 4. And then it says, blessed is the man that maketh the Lord his trust, and respecteth not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Okay? I mean, what can I tell you? Okay? So those that do not, lies just means that everybody that, continues to worship a SHEREERUTH, something that is held by your imagination, and it does not go back to the alphabet and to the function of the words, so that you are here to appreciate restoring, renewing, refreshing, maintaining, making, sustaining, all of that has to do with those that just want to keep words as their heritage. They are the doers, they are the producers, they are the makers, they're the sustainers, they're the renovators, they're the repairers. That's why we become the repairer of the breach. We do everything to bring back people back to the old path of just dwelling in the mindset of God and not wandering after the pesel, the narrative that people bring you so they can bring it up in imaginations. You have an evil inclination to go after the imagination and not go back to the source of everything else, which is the word of the alphabet, the word of the AlefBet that made everything. So there's a lot of stuff that I have to say here, but I think this is a good idea because this is just basically a testing that I'm doing today. But you see, when you have the Torah, 4 verses, you see how much you can get out of that? You can just get so much out of this thing because there's so much that you have to say and you want to share, you want to empower my friends. So that's what I was talking earlier with my buddies here that, that the way I decided to start this ministry was kind of interesting because I was telling them that I have yet to look around because I've been looking around. I go on the internet every day. I go on YouTube every day, and the only people that offer money, for you to watch the program, I have this thing every Wednesday, watch and win, learn and earn, which people can make money, and learn for just learning the Torah, learning the things, learning my lessons. And I said the only programs that give money away that I watch are people like Let's Make a Deal, an old program before, now Jeopardy. I think the person just died last year, right? and the price is right, you know, all these things like that that give their monies away. But they have sponsors. They have big brand companies that are either, you know, donating their products, donating cash and everything. So on behalf of these companies, they do these things. But I have yet to see a minister in this time of age that is doing something similar to what I'm doing on every Wednesday. You know, I'm sponsored by the Torah, by the way. To me, the Word of God is the one that gives me life, that gives me understanding, you know, opens up all the opportunities to me. And on behalf of my sponsor, I'm giving out money. Okay? So, of all, because I asked them, you know, of all the spiritual teachers and Bible teachers, even rabbis that you know out there, how many are doing something similar? You know, I see a lot of them asking for donation. Woo! That's almost like, I think that's 100%. Everybody asks for a little money. Donate. It's good. It's charitable. It's good hesek. You know, it's good thing to be a charitable person, and for you to be charitable and give money, they'll do everything to get you money. Okay, but that's something I can say by Hashem and by the power of the AlefBet that I never done. I never asked for any donation. You know, I never asked for any money. You know, period. But I have always tried to give money away. Even when I started this, I was in the schools that I used to go before in Hacienda Heights. Even, you know, they used to, even I think I did it with Pilgrim School, but they used to call the Baptist bucks, and they used to be the CEO's bucks. I had my way of teaching, and I will give CEO's bucks for little things that people can exchange it for. The Baptist bucks, if people show. So I will always give money if people. I will have this idea of giving stuff away. And now that I'm doing it on the internet, I finally get to just give the real cash. You know, not just little thing. I'm giving the real cash that everybody deals with. You know, but I've yet to see that. Why? Because people, you know, are not that strong. They have to depend on somebody else. But the thing is, if you have that strength of the AlefBet, if the alphabet is your fortitude, your forte and your strength, you learn so many things. So you're ready to do all things. You always have 2 jobs or overtime, a lot of stuff to do, you know. And then you learn how to control, you know, your appetites. You learn the secrets of fasting. You learn the power to stay healthy. You don't get sick. You don't have all these things because you follow the Torah. You follow kosher stuff. You know, so in the interim, you have all these things that you can give away. You take care of people's businesses. You know, you take care of all things that they need. You become the hookup man, you know, the hook up a brother up man. You know, that's my David kind of thing name that I have going. So all of that is part of being in the Torah. But I have yet to see, you know, when you think about it, how many you don't? I know all of you watch all kinds of ministry, even your own pastor, you know. Many of you went to different churches your whole life. How many of the churches or ministers that you have found give money away for the teachings that they're giving out? I'll wait. Because I have yet to, you know what I'm saying? I have yet to see it myself. You know? And why? It's easy to do it, to look at. And it's not like I'm making lots. I'm making $15 an hour. It's not like I'm making a lot of money, you know. 2 years ago, I was making good money, you know, $35 an hour because I was working for the immigration services. But those things went away, you know. So now just down to $15 an hour. But still, even this whole 2020, I managed to give almost as much as when I was making $35 an hour. So what does that tell you? You can discipline yourself, you know, and live in the joy of just giving everything away. And when you're driven that way, see, that's why no economy can scare me. Because even when I lose money, I can give more, almost as much as when I had a lot more money. So you see what I'm saying? So then you are above everything that challenges everybody. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be that strong, okay? So that's something you're never going to see me asking for money, okay? Now, when I make my book here, you know, and I have this ministry going, and I have a book to sell, then I'm going to sell, but I'm selling the book. You know what I'm saying? But well, the thing is, for this ministry, everybody they have a ministry to run. Okay, let's collect that money. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with giving money. You want to give money away, go give it away. Okay? That's fine. You can, the Bible has nothing bad to say about the people that collect money, by the way. It's nothing like that. But I'm just trying to mention this so you can see where the strength resides in a person. What drives a person? Because money is an easy way to determine, If I'm here and I'm giving money away and I'm giving my teachers away, what is it that drives me then? You see? You cannot say that it's money that drives me, right? You cannot accuse me of that. That's the beautiful thing of doing it this way. Because almost all of the people out there says, ministers only want money. They cannot say that about me, because not a single program that I asked for money for the ministry I've done so far. Once the book is out there and everything, people want the book, and I want to put it more like a book club. I'm gonna put it so you'll join the book club, because I'm always coming up with new updates anyhow. So you'll keep updated, in the stuff like that. So that will be with the CEOs. That's why the CEOs.com and the CFOs.com. There's gonna be like a certain fee to join that for the people that want to be in the here and now, for the mindset of the maker and the attitude of the Father, because it's part of my book and everything like that. But that's coming. But that's gonna be a service. You see. It's going to be a service that applies for everybody, for everybody in the world. But this ministry, you're teaching Torah, I'm always going to do it for free. All right? So that's something that, I encourage you to, get that attitude for yourself and get it from the Torah. And that's my whole idea of teaching you these things, okay? So let's take it to, let's close it to the recording. All right?